morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Sir Meerkat, and welcome back to the Moto Meerkat channel. So we all know this situation. The driver wins the race. Oh, I'm so happy, look at me. They get out on the podium. They listen to some boring music for a few minutes. Hey everyone, look at that trophy the man gave me, isn't it cool? And then they whip out the bottles of bubbly for a quick spray session. But pause. Why do they actually do this? Why did someone decide it would be a good idea to spray hundreds of pounds worth of liquid all over each other in a display of celebration? Well, since it's a story from decades ago, obviously the internet has a lot of conflicting information. But join me as I enlighten you as to why Formula One drivers spray champagne on the podium. Only the other day, Formula One's sporting director, Ross Brawn, stated that the usual podium and celebration and showing the trophies to the top three drivers was going to have to be scrapped for 2020 as they brought in their new strict safety precautions due to the COVID-19 situation. So it's sad that we won't be seeing that part of the whole spectacle of Formula One this year, but the first time motor racing fans actually saw a race winner spraying a bottle of champagne was completely by accident. After winning the Pro Type 2000 class of the 1966 24 Hours of Le Mans, Joe Siffert, who was driving for Porsche at the time, clambered out of his race-winning car onto the podium, where he was then handed his trophy, his wreath, and of course, a big bottle of champagne. Before he had the chance to attempt to take a swig from the bottle, the cork exploded out of the top, causing the liquid that it contained inside to spray out over his competitors and the crowd. Although a little bit startled, Siffert actually revelled in the situation, finding it quite amusing along with his compatriots. And it was later revealed that the cause of the incident was because the bottle had been left outside by probably some silly intern. So it obviously been sat outside in the sun, the heat on it was building pressure up and up and up in the bottle until eventually it went pop. And this would have simply been a one-off, sort of amusing event in history if it were not for 1 year later at the same event when Californian racer Dan Gurney did the exact same thing, but this time deliberately. And he put a little bit more oomph into it this time, proper spraying the crowd like you should, and it sort of caught on after that, spreading across all different forms of motorsports, and now we end up today where everyone seems to do it. Whilst the original bottle that had the loose cork was a Magnum that could hold 1.5 litres of liquid, the F1 drivers now spray a Jeroboam, which contains 3 litres of champagne. That's enough to paint like the entire crowd. Between 2005 and 2015, Formula One had a partnership with the prestigious brand Mumm to only spray their bottles of champagne on the podium. But when that partnership expired in 2015, a new brand called Carbon took their place instead. And these bottles actually contain sparkling wine, which is the same as what was in the Mumm bottles, but they're called champagne. And that's sort of on a technicality because to be considered champagne, the bottle and what is inside has to have been brewed in the Champagne region of France, which the Carbon bottles are not. But the Carbon brand I think looks really cool. They've incorporated sort of GoPros onto them as well, so we get another view of the boys on the podium, which is always cool. And they've got the contract with Formula One until the end of the 2021 season. Obviously when we were supposed to have all the big changes in F1, but now that's been pushed back to 2022, so I'm not sure if they'll extend the deal by a year or extend it even further. We'll have to wait and see. And what do you think? Do you think the contract's going to be renewed, or do you think a new brand is going to take their space? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. So overall, aside from making the F1 podium look like a thumbnail from a website that you'd have to delete your internet history after viewing, I do think it is a really cool addition to the sport and sort of brings more of a spectacle to the after race celebrations. And although we're not going to see it in 2021, which is a bit gutting, if you think on a whole world scale, it's not really too big an issue, and hopefully we'll be able to see it back in the sport in 2021. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did end up enjoying it, be sure to leave a little like down below, and while you're down there, subscribe to the channel, hit that red button, because you're not going to want to miss the new videos I've got coming up soon. I release videos every Tuesday and every Friday. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see all of you Meerkats later. Goodbye guys!